The leaves shake without wind. 10 million red eyes watch from a canopy that screams at 100 decibels, a frequency that bends the air itself. This is not chaos. This is mathematics made flesh. A 17-year equation solving itself in a single, deafening month. To understand how they arrived here, we must descend into a darkness that predates their birth. We begin in the wet velvet of anaerobic soil. Here, 17 years is not a burden but a strategy. The capillary labyrinth stretches beneath the forest floor. It is a world of kilometers of darkness, threaded with root veins. They pulse their slow hydraulic song in the obsidian deep. In tunnels no wider than a pencil, we wait. We do not wait by accident. We do not wait by chance. We are held by a prime number, 17. It is a defense written in mathematics. It is a rhythm no predator can synchronize with. 6,205 days. Each one is identical to the last. The forest drinks, and we drink with it. We take microscopic sips of xylem fluid drawn through piercing mouthparts thinner than human hair. Above us, 17 winters harden the oak. 17 springs burst green in a cycle of light we cannot see. But down here, there is no season. There is only the patient mechanical tick of a clock counting toward a moment we have never known. Then, without ceremony, the collective mass begins to shift. Tunnels that once ran horizontal now curve upward. We reach with tentative fingers toward a ceiling we have never touched. Our fossorial forelegs, heavily evolved for excavation, begin their final, heavy work. The mass moves as one organism with 10 million hearts beating in the damp clay. Something ancient stirs in the chemistry of our blood, signaling the end of the long vigil. The journey begins. The ascent is a vertical struggle through clay that tastes different with every centimeter. We leave the deep roots, the thick, reliable arteries that have sustained us through our long childhood. We enter the shallow realm where oxygen whispers through the porous soil. The clay grows warmer. It grows looser and strange. Every primitive instinct screams of the danger above, yet every body continues to climb. We are fossorial creatures, abandoning the only world we have ever known, pulled by a gravity of time. The soil at 20 centimeters depth holds 18 degrees Celsius. This is the thermal gate. It is the precise chemical trigger encoded in our blood. Not 17 degrees, not 19, 18. This is the precision written into genes that have survived for millennia. When the temperature sustains, the clay erupts. Billions of pale bodies pour from exits that appear like volcanic vents across the forest floor. We emerge into a world of light so violent it feels like drowning. The stasis ends. The volatility begins. We gather at the base of the ascent pillar, a white oak 30 meters tall. Its bark is rough as crystalline stone and grooved like ancient scripture. This is the sacred place. It is the vertical cathedral where the final transformation will occur. Behind us, the forest floor seethes with the motion of millions. Ahead, the impossible climb. We do not rest. We do not question the height. we begin to ascend, our claws finding purchase in lichen and crevice, carrying our soft bodies toward a future that exists only as a phantom instinct. The ritual occurs at dusk. We wait for the moment when the predators sleep between their shifts. We anchor ourselves upside down, claws locked deep into the bark, and wait for the thoracic seam to split. The old self cracks along the back, a golden shell we have worn for 17 years. From this amber tomb, the true form pulls itself free. It is milky white and impossibly soft. The wings are like wet paper, crumpled and useless. We emerge blind and vulnerable in the violet light. The hardening of the body takes hours. Hemolymph pumps through wing veins, inflating the membranes that will soon carry us into the canopy. The cuticle darkens from ghost white to an obsidian black armor. Red compound eyes bloom like fresh wounds against the dark bark. This is the window of absolute vulnerability. These are the hours when a single bird can end a bloodline that survived 17 years in the darkness. Every moment is a wager against extinction. We hang motionless, trusting only in the safety of our astronomical numbers. Then comes the final waiting. Thousands of us, now fully hardened, cling to the oak in perfect stillness. Our wings are like stained glass. Our bodies are like obsidian armor. But we do not sing yet. We do not call to the forest. We wait for the sun to rise and provide the thermal energy. We need the heat to activate the muscles we have never used. The forest holds its breath in the morning mist. We are the pause between the inhale and the scream. But not all transformations lead to the song. Some of us carry a silent passenger, Mesospora cicadina. It is a fungus that has waited in the soil as long as we have. It erupts from the abdomen, consuming the host from within. It replaces living flesh with a chalky yellow plug of spores. The infected do not die quietly. The fungus produces cathinone and psilocybin, an amphetamine and a psychedelic. It turns the host into a zombie driven by a chemical madness to mate and spread the plague. They fly with half a body, propelled by drugs and desperation. The predators come in relentless waves. Birds gorge themselves until they can no longer take flight. Small mammals eat until they vomit, only to return to the feast again. The forest floor becomes a carpet of severed wings and discarded, half-eaten bodies. For every 1,000 that climbed the pillar, 900 will fall before they sing. This is not a tragedy of the individual, it is the strategy of the mass. We flood the world with so many bodies that the predators reach their limit. Satiation is the only shield that matters. And then, the first timbal muscle fires. It vibrates 400 times per second. A single male calls into the void. Then 10 males join the rhythm. Then 100. Then 10 million. The sound becomes a physical thing. It is a wall of acoustic saturation so dense it shakes the leaves. It is so relentless it drives the predators from the canopy in pain. 100 decibels. This is the frequency of inevitability. We do not sing to attract, we sing to survive. The chorus is mathematics proving its own worth. "28 days of light. That is what 17 years of waiting has purchased for us. In the chlorophyll green light of the high canopy, we finally find each other. The males create a brutal, pulsating courtship that vibrates the very air. The females choose their mates with compound eyes that see the world in ultraviolet. Wings beat in a synchronized, chaotic flight through the branches. Bodies lock mid-air in the thermal saturation of the peak. The exchange of life is brief, mechanical, and absolute. The females carry the weight of the future in their abdomens. They hold hundreds of ceramic white eggs, each no larger than a grain of sand. They fly to the edge of the canopy, seeking the young twigs still soft with spring growth. They slice the wood open with ovipositors sharp as surgical blades. Into these vertical wounds, they deposit the next generation. They do not place them in the soil or in safety. They leave them in the wood, 30 meters above the ground, to incubate in the open air. Six weeks later, the wounded twigs begin to wither and snap in the wind. The eggs hatch into microscopic life. These nymphs, translucent and barely alive, fall like a silver rain from the heights of the forest. They plummet through light and shadow, past the birds and the wind, until they strike the forest floor. They do not hesitate. They burrow immediately down into the dark clay. They return to the capillary labyrinth where the story first began. The cycle renews itself in a state of free fall. By the 28th day, our wings begin to fail. The great chorus fragments into 1,000 smaller pieces. The canopy slowly empties of its motion. We fall, not in violence, but in a state of total exhaustion. Our bodies are spent, and our purpose is fulfilled. The acoustic saturation fades to a series of scattered clicks. Then it fades to whispers. Then, finally, to the silence of the trees. The forest floor becomes a graveyard of our own making. Billions of bodies return their nitrogen to a soil that has not seen this richness in a generation. We do not mourn the passing of the singers. We fertilize the roots that held us. Our death is the final gift, a 200% nitrogen spike. It will fuel the oaks and strengthen the very roots that will nourish our children in the darkness below. Beneath the carpet of the dead, the young have already begun their long vigil. They tap into the capillary roots. They begin to drink. The trees, fed by our carcasses, grow 15% faster this year. This is the ancestor fueling the descendant through chemistry and sacrifice. In the wet velvet of the clay, the 17-year clock resets. The mathematics begins again. In the darkness, where there is no light, we wait. We are patient as stone. We are inevitable as a prime number.